Hi there, thanks very much. Yeah, I think the book, you can buy it in shops and stuff, and on Amazon. I was thinking, it just came up the M4, and I thought about ranting about lane discipline, but then I thought that was deeply middle-aged, and, you're in the why are you in the middle lane? Move out of the middle lane, move into, there's no one there, just move. And don't overtake me on the inside if I'm trying to, just move out. And anyway, but I'm not going to talk to you about that. I think I'm going to talk to you about supermarket vegetables and this sort of bogus idea of supermodel sort of perfection and glossy-haired nonsense and uniform size and things. It makes me really angry. It's this idea that somehow we can't cope with knobby bits and sort of a little bit of roughness on skin, or a sort of a carrot that's bent, or a cucumber that's a bit bent. And, I think this is all about, I think it's about supermarkets doing stuff for their own convenience. It's about them, it's about things that fit into their standard packaging. It's about fitting the cucumbers in the straight box. It's about all sorts of stuff. But I really, maybe you disagree, but I really don't think it's about us. And the two things that make me really angry about this, one is actually that it's hugely wasteful. The figures are of the stuff that is thrown away because it doesn't meet supermarket vegetable specification. They're huge in some cases. I saw a figure somewhere about 50% of apple growers said, actually, we always have to let at least 20% of our apples rot on the trees because they're not good enough for the supermarkets. Stuff gets sent back to growers. Loads of them start to use more pesticides in order to achieve sort of perfection and that shiny sort of glossy skin that people want, or that the supermarkets demand. And I think that's just, in a world where people are starving in certain areas, I think it's a shame and an arrogance, and unforgivable to have that degree of waste just because of this sort of shiny supermodel fruit idea. But also the other thing that makes me angry and upset about it is that it sort of informs the way that people think about fruit and vegetables and the things that they then think that they want. So they start to think that this sort of Disney Snow White apple is the all that an apple can be, and I don't think that's true. I just remembered some of the things before I go on with that, some of the stuff that things get sent back to farmers or get rejected for. Apples, too red, not red enough. Too big, too small. Pears that aren't pear-shaped enough. Bent cucumbers, bent carrots that sort of split, the sort of thing that used to be on That's Life when they used to titter and say, it looks like a model with her, with her legs crossed and her bum out and things like that. Those sorts of carrots. Strawberries, red strawberries. People are deeply suspicious of red strawberries because if they're too deep red, people think, it's too red. It's not like a proper strawberry. Strawberries are scarlet, But if you get a crimson strawberry, often the crimson strawberries, that's the flavour is in that. People, the supermarkets say we don't want them. So I don't want to be told what I want or what I don't want. Whose fault is this? I don't think it's consumers' faults. Supermarkets blame the EU, but actually supermarket standards for what's known as Class 1 fruit. I hate this idea of class applied to fruit and veg, but supermarket standards are actually higher in terms of glossiness and stuff than the EU dictates, and they're allowed to sell Class 2 fruit and veg, but they say we don't want it. They say we don't want those strawberries that aren't necessarily the perfect heart shape. We don't want the bent cucumbers. I don't think that's true. And then the other thing about all of this is that it's limiting our choice, and it's limiting diversity, and it's the beginning of a slippery slope. Already people don't buy Egremont russets, which are one of the great British apples. Sorry, I've knocked off my doodah. One of the great British apples, because it's got this sort of slightly rough skin that they think is a bit sandpapery. It's got an amazing flavour. This looks, the correlation between look and flavour that the supermarket tries to make is a bogus one, I think. And, you know, where does it end? There are certain fruit and vegetables that are shiny and glossy. Aubergines look like they've just had a respray. That's great for aubergines. But actually, if there's an apple called a knobby russet that looks like it's got scrofula. You know, I feel sorry for that. And certainly they're not selling that in a supermarket. When did you last see a quince in the supermarket? Again, one of the great flavours of, you know, coming out sort of in the next month or so. You know, but often they have a sort of a sort of fluffy fluff on the outside. People think, oh, that's mould. Well, it's not mould. It's just you wipe it off and then you cut the thing and you cook it for a long time, and it's the most delicious thing. Celeriac looked like the ood from Doctor Who. You know, what else? Parsnips look like geriatric willies. You know, I mean, where do you stop with this? It's sort of, I think there's this sort of vegetable body fascism, and I think it's wrong, and I think it's got to stop. So I think we need, you know, let's hear it for the crooked and the cankered and the, you know, and the bent and the bobbly and the knobbly and the gnarled. I think vegetable equality, fruit and vegetable equality, down with the supermodel fruit and veg. That's what I say.